Welcome to the Pedal Collaborative podcast. We're so glad you're here. Bonjour, bienvenue to the Pedal Collaborative podcast. I told everybody we might be speaking French. My name is Alan, and I am one of the hosts for the Pedal Collaborative podcast. I am not joined today by Paul because he is sick, and maybe we use air quotes to say sick because I have not seen him physically sick, so maybe he's just playing hooky. I don't know. But he is going to be the one missing out for sure because we have very, very, very special guests today. We have Baptiste and Dennis from Collision Devices.
Hey,
Hey, all, how you doing?
fine.
Yeah, very
Thanks.
fine.
Good, good, good. We are so glad that you're here. For listeners out there who may not know, Collision Devices is a fantastic boutique pedal manufacturing company out of France. So that is why I started with the very limited French that I know. And
That's fine.
oh, thank you, thank you. I've been Duolingoing, so that's how we learn sometimes. So let me just give the pedestal to you for a second, gentlemen. Give us a quick rundown, introduction of yourselves, and maybe your role there at Collision Devices.
Yeah.
Dennis, it's your turn.
So I'm Dennis. I co-founded Collision Devices with Baptiste. It was in 2018, so it's like
6 years?
6 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
And I'm in charge of the electronic design and all of the I don't know how to say, but administrative content, sales, etc. So because we do not have a special person dedicated to support, and it's us doing that stuff. So yeah, that's the main parts of my job.
Okay.
And so, as you said, I'm Baptiste. I'm the product designer of Collision Devices. So I made the Stompbox design, but also packagings and communication and stuff like that. For Collision Devices.
Yeah, and he also does the shipping too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Many jobs.
So yes, I mean, if you have to stop and go ship some things, we get it. We've had that happen. Well, it is so great to have you both here, and
Thank you.
I would say from the presence that you have online, I expect the company to be a lot bigger in terms of personnel.
We are four actually.
Yeah.
4, okay.
Yeah, and there is Nicolas doing all of the building and assembly
Soldering.
and test. Yeah, he used to work in the electronic field before to work with us. And when we started in 2018, he was helping us, but just like a friend because we used to play music together, and Nicolas was our touring manager too. So
Fantastic.
we had
That was a funny moment.
Yeah. We were like in a workshop where all of those things were happening at the same time. I mean, Collision Devices, all of our bands. We had like artistic organizations. It was very, very nice working with friends. Then we hired officially Nicolas for building.
Yeah.
Then I think it was in 2022.
Yeah, when Nocturnals.
Yeah, when the
released.
Nocturnal was released, we hired Robin, who is in charge of the electronic design and maybe more software part for now. So now we are 4.
That's fantastic. And honestly, I'm a little surprised when you say that you started in 2018. Because again, the image that I see from you all from a public stance in terms of your social media, your website and all that stuff, that sort of thing, it comes across as a much more mature company than
Yeah.
just 6, 7 years. So kudos to you on that. That's amazing. So
you.
Thanks.
yeah, I think because I'm even thinking now of some companies that have been around for decades and decades that still feel like they have that working out of their garage vibe,
Yeah.
and that's cool. I have
Yeah.
respect for that.
Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
But there is something, Paul and I love design of things in terms like we had a whole episode about aesthetics for
Okay.
pedals, and your line has been something that has just impressed both of us. Um,
Thank you.
and because and we'll get to this in a second, it, you can have a really good sounding pedal that looks like garbage, and
Yeah.
you can have a really great looking pedal that sounds like garbage. Did I say that backward? Did I say that
Exactly.
good? Looks good, sounds bad.
Yeah.
Looks
And
bad,
looks
sounds
bad,
good.
sounds good.
Right.
Yeah.
But with your stuff, I feel from what I've experienced, everything is looks great, sounds great. Um,
Cool.
and
Thanks so
it
much.
even goes a step further, and we'll get to that in a second. But you kind of touched on one of the questions I wanted to ask you in terms of how you got to start up Collision Devices. So you were in a band together. Um, w- Talk real quick about that, and then tell us how you got to the place of starting to design and build your own pedals.
Okay, so to make a quick
Resume?
resume, I know Denise since I am 13, 14.
Yeah.
So we were playing different bands, different music bands, and we grew up
Together.
together in this very small city.
Yeah.
And after that, Dennis makes some study in electronic, and I make some study in architecture. And I stopped my study in architecture, and I was working in different company. And Dennis said to me, I have an idea, is to build some effect pedal. And I said, okay, I don't know nothing. I know nothing about electronics, but if you want, I can make the design of the product. So he made a prototype of black hole symmetry, and I was starting drawing the first prototype of the black hole symmetry, and that was approximately how the company start the first project.
Yeah. That's the idea. I think that that's maybe the difference between our growth. Some of the companies you mentioned before that are there from like 10 years, and we are more young. You are younger than these companies, but as we were very young when we started, we had no pressure to like make money for kids, family. We just had to eat and have quite okay home. But yeah, we had no specific thing to lose in our life, so it was maybe easier for us to launch our own company than people who have a lot of things to care about.
Sure, sure, that makes sense, and, you know, when I do the math, it's 2025 right now, you started 7 years ago, that it's 7 years is a decent amount of time. It feels like it was yesterday because of the whole
Yeah.
blip of COVID and everything
Mm,
shutting down
Yeah,
and getting weird, right?
yeah.
2018 feels like, in some ways, a lifetime ago, and in some ways, it feels like last year. Um, but and again, I think about your company and how far you've progressed in this time, and it's impressive. So this also then so the Black Hole Symmetry was the first pedal that you brought to market, and I want to talk about the design. And now, Baptiste, it makes sense that you had some study as architect
yeah,
because of the way that that pedal is laid out. So I'm going to lead to asking about the layout of that pedal, the knob placement, and the the like foot switch placement. Um, we've mentioned it before. The black hole symmetry was was our Paul's and my first foray into collision devices. But when I opened it and looked at it, I was like, "Good God, this is beautiful." It's
Thanks so much.
gorgeously designed, but it's also I started tweaking knobs. I'm like, "Wait, that doesn't make sense. That's not doing anything." And then I realized
Yeah.
it's not it is not, it's not just, "Let's put some knobs over each foot switch, and that's what works." There's design there. Um, let's get to that in half a second. I want you to know how how we actually got our hands on it. Because it's a shout out to Paul's partner. So, Paul and I have been friends for many, many years, similar to you two. And his birthday is in May. And as it gets close to his birthday, his partner will usually give me a text and say, "Hey, I've heard Paul talking about this, some things. What does he have? What does he not have?" And she sent me a picture of the black hole symmetry, and I was like, "Oh, well, I know he's been talking about that for a long time, but he's never bought it. So that's what we should do." So we got that for him. Um, and we did this whole like cloak and dagger mysterious, had it shipped to my house, and then I repackaged it because we bought it from, I think we bought it from Vintage King, a
Oh,
dealer
okay.
in the
Yeah.
United States.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, little plug for Vintage King. Anybody who wants some really good effects pedals, but also studio gear, they have all of that good stuff. And there's good guys and gals working at those locations. So anyway, it ships to my house. It's, got the Vintage King tape all around it. And I knew that if I shipped it back to Paul like that, he would know instantly it's for him and it's right. So I repackage it, and I don't know how exactly I did it, but I sent it to his partner with her name, like her maiden name, and
Yeah.
and then I created some fake address for the return
Oh,
because
yeah.
I don't know
That's
how
insane.
I don't know how like dedicated he would get, in terms of trying to figure out what it is that just showed up, right? For me, if it's within like my birthday time frame, I'm like, that's going to be for me. I wonder where it's from. So I'm actually not allowed to get any mail or packages for like the month before my birthday. So I just wasn't sure how devious Paul was. Um, so anyway, we get it, like, I get a video of him opening it up, and he's like a kid in a candy store, just
Amazing.
absolutely adores this thing, is, like, so excited, but then he plugs it in and is just all night long sending me clips of, like,
Cool.
"Holy shit, check this out, and listen to this fuzz, and listen to this verb, and listen to this delay," and, like, all together, and all this sort of thing, and I was very excited that, I could play a very small part of him having that experience. His
Amazing.
partner definitely she gets all the credit, for it, and, officially, she gets all the credit. I mean, you 2 get a lot of credit for making it, um, but then as Paul and I are talking and the initial excitement's worn down just a tad because he still absolutely loves it, and we're looking at it, and we're kinda FaceTiming, and I'm like I pull up, pictures in the manual, and I'm like, "That doesn't make sense. Tell me how this is working." And then he's getting super excited, kind of telling me how the knobs are laid out.
Yeah.
Um, it has um, an like an outer space type of vibe to the way that you label things, black hole symmetry, right? It's definitely got that feel, but the way that you label each of the effects in there, the knob sizing, the placement. This is all extremely intentional in what you did, and I want to hear more about that process for both the black hole symmetry, but also the crush-ternal has definitely is the same in terms of how
Yes.
you've laid it out, the nocturnal as well. Um, there is intention in more than just fitting everything onto a board and into a box, but how it's laid out. How will the user interact with the knobs and the switches? I could continue to gush, but please tell us a little bit more about that part of the process for you.
Yeah, for sure. There is a lot of things to say, but first thing and the most important that was I had about 1 year and a half to make the design, and it's such an important thing that the time, even for the electronic. But now the company is working. Uh, it, we made some product every year, but it's hard to release a product every year because it takes a lot of time extra. But for the black hole symmetry, it was the first one, and the first thing I have to say that I had 1 year and a half. So this is the first cool thing about that. The second thing is Dennis and me loved what's going on space. And when we launched the company, we had an idea that we are going to build our product around a concept, and the black hole symmetry is for sure around the concept of a black hole in space. So I said, okay, what's going on the black hole and around the black hole? There is three parts to resume.
Yeah.
There is the ergosphere, the event horizon, and the singularity. So I say to Denise, okay, we will build the layout as a real black hole in space. So the ergosphere with the delay, with the goal knob on the side
Yeah.
of the pedal, and then the event horizon, the reverb, the second part of the black hole, and then the singularity in the center of the black hole. So if you look the black hole symmetry, you can look that the design is going to the center.
Yeah,
Yes.
it gets sucked by the
Yeah.
the middle of the black hole. Yeah, it's a circle
Yeah.
design rather than a design inline.
Yeah. No, I don't think I ever realized that in terms of the 3 different parts of a black hole, and it's makes perfect sense now that as you've explained it, and I have it up on one of my screens. I'm looking at it, with that particularly in mind. Yeah, it's beautiful, and I love that,
So the
yes, please.
concept, about the space and the time was, I think, the two facts that
Yeah,
the product is now a great product in terms of design extra.
yeah,
And just a fun fact, I choose the gold num for the delay.
Mhm.
When I built the black hole symmetry, I had no idea that in a real black hole there is a part, and the name of this part is an accretion disk, and this part in the real black hole is gold due to
Oh,
yeah. Due to the loss of light that gets sucked into the event horizon, where nothing can escape from
yes.
the huge gravity. So that's the last time we see the light around it. So yeah,
Wow.
c'est une coïncidence.
yeah, I don't know, but it reminds.
Coincidence?
Yeah, it's
Coincidence.
coincidence.
It's a
Yeah.
pure coincidence.
Yeah.
And I realized it 2 years after the release of the black hole symmetry, but I was like, okay, that's just perfect.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
absolutely perfect. Yes, yes.
yeah,
The knobs on the black hole symmetry, for the delay have a gold, edging. It's
Yeah.
quite
yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, I
Well, you probably
I remember too that at this time we did not find the name still of
Mm.
the black hole symmetry. We didn't have a name for the company yet, and we just used to work together on a product. But we didn't know at this time that we wanted to launch a company. We just wanted to make our own product, and I think it has been inspired a lot by space, because when we finished our rehearsals, we shared coffees together
Yeah.
at like 2 or 3 a.m.
4,
Uh,
5,
wow.
6.
yeah, and just looking at the sky and wondering what was happening and listening to podcasts or videos about that.
Yeah.
That's something that fed our discussions about the black hole symmetry, and then we came with the sound that was very inspired by post rock or shoegaze music, etc.
Yes.
So it was linked to something very ambient. Um, and I think it makes the links between the design and the sound.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then we came with the name Black Hole Symmetry, because I sent to Baptiste a screenshot of an oscilloscope where I worked on something which is named a Shua oscillator. So it's a sort of two oscillators that are just next to another's. That was it made us think about two black hole, and the name black hole symmetry came from that.
Beautiful.
and we told, yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to be the name of the pedal.
Perfect.
we,
Yeah.
Perfect.
we made a video since few weeks to resume the story of the black hole.
Yeah.
So for the people who wants to see, it's in French, but we subtitle it in English.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I will find that and put it in the notes for people to
Yeah,
see
cool.
because it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, and I love, again, I have nothing against like the Chase Bliss guys and gals. I love their pedals. And
Yeah,
I,
with
in in their own way, I love that all of their single boxes are the same
Mm.
as far as the layout, the dip switches, like the toggle switches, they're all the same.
yeah.
And I'm sure that provides its own challenge. But looking at your catalog and what it says to me for the way that you approach your design is you're more interested in the singular piece
Mm,
and the
exactly.
artistry behind that, uh, creating the story and the narrative for that individual piece, fitting it all, of course, within the branding of the company, but it they're all different. And I love it. So you had the black hole symmetry that came,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Maybe we can say that the name collision devices comes maybe from that time too, where we were thinking about finding a name. Collision devices can be like the collision of the Baptiste universe, which is more a design universe,
mhm,
and my
mhm.
universe, which is more electronic. So it's a collision between both universe. It was linked to the collision in space, because in space there is like much collisions between objects.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's something that inspired us a lot, and that's how the name collision devices came.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I mean, and it's cohesive. It everything together, the way that you have described creating the black hole symmetry and your friendship, it collision devices makes perfect sense, and I think that was the perfect name. So if we continue along with your product and the rollouts, what you released, Black Hole Symmetry was the first one, um, and I always reference the Nocturnal and the Crush-ternal because those are some of our favorites, but you have some others in there. The Singularity, which is the fuzz, correct,
Mhm.
on the Black Hole Symmetry,
Yeah.
is so good that you
Thanks.
released it by itself.
Yeah.
So if someone wants just the fuzz, it's this. And y'all, if I mean, I'm looking at the screen. I don't have them on the video here, but if go to their website, collisiondevices.com, and just look at these pedals. They're beautiful. I mean, even the simplicity of some of them, like the Singularity in white, it is a square box
Yeah.
with a single knob and a little toggle switch. I mean, it's and everyone's like, "So what? It's a box and a switch." Look at it. You'll see what I'm talking about. Um, but let's skip past some of like the Singularity as its own piece because like that came out of Black Hole Symmetry. What was the next thing that you all worked on after Black Hole Symmetry?
It was the ranch.
The ranch. Yeah.
This strange box made in wood and leather.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
it was a particular time because we released the black hole symmetry and we were thinking about building another product, but at the same time appeared the stress of a real company that has to do a release and to like
To just survive.
yeah
sure.
to survive, to make some money, to live and to grow up in terms of audience. So we were thinking about doing an effect that was very different from the black hole symmetry, and we came with the range. We still had this concept of three effects in the box, but it was a bit different, and
Yeah.
even in terms of design it was very nice to me, but I think it was less understood
Yeah.
by our customers maybe.
Yeah, and it was very strange when we released it.
Yeah.
Because the audience was just, oh, this is strange. This is not collision devices.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. they see the black hole symmetry, and after this they see the range with a wood box extra. But we really build it as a conceptual product too, and for the people who wants to read, we have a story between our products, and the ranch is a huge part of this story, and we love this. So as we say, we build our product as a concept, and the texture, the materials we used, it's very important for us. But as Denis said, the electronic was I mean the sound of the pedal was perhaps something
More classical.
more classical.
Yeah.
And it's not ambient, it's not a
Noisy.
huge trip.
Yeah.
So yeah, perhaps the audience was just
Yeah, but I think it's a premium product anyway, because we made it in like a wooden enclosure made of bare wood. It's US walnut.
US walnut.
On the top of it, there's vegetal laser. It's
Pineatex.
pineapple laser. Yeah, it's Pineatex slice.
It's not real laser.
Yeah, it's like vegetal. And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
we made our own wax to take care of the pedal. We made our own I don't know how you say, but pads to clean the pedal. Yeah. And there was like a premium packaging on it.
So no, I don't know.
Oh, wow, yeah.
We just
Yeah,
pushed the
a stamp. Yeah, we created a stamp to stamp all of the
Yeah.
packages with our homemade wax. So it was very a sort of a craftsmanship thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, so
And-
that's one that's been up on my radar. I want to get
Yeah.
absolutely because it looks, I love. All right, so I'm gonna totally veer off because you said the wood is U.S. walnut. I'm gonna make a tariff joke. Are they like, are we charging you extra? Do you have to pay tariffs on that? Oh, oh man. We can go back to tariffs later in a sec, but, all right, so the ranch, for everybody who wants to know, it is a overdrive plus boost and dynamic tremolo.
yeah.
Now question, is the dynamic tremolo that's in the ranch, is that the same one that's in the nocturnal?
Kind of the same one. It has been reworked in the Nocturnal, but yeah,
Okay.
it's the same idea with the same envelope follower detection circuit. So yeah.
Got it. Well, then that segues us perfectly to the nocturnal, which was the next larger, 3-switch, right? That was the next one after the
Yeah.
ranch.
Exactly.
So this one is a beautiful ambient machine.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that real quick.
That's the name. Yeah.
Yeah, so we made it for a friend of us. He asked us to make a shimmer.
Yeah, we were trading tattoos for a pedal, and in exchange of tattoos, he asked us to build him a pedal. So yeah, that's
Oh,
the
that's perfect.
start of the project.
So yeah, this
I
is
mean-
a custom order.
I love it. I love it.
So in terms of design, for my part, I don't build the pedal as the exact same way like the black hole symmetry, because he wanted some part to be more
Graphic.
Yeah. In the black hole you have the delay on the side, the reverb extra. In the nocturnal you have the shimmer in the right of the pedal, the delay in the left, etc. So it was different, but it was very interesting to interact with a customer, and another approach of the design. But we also have a concept for the pedal that about a story about a little girl June in the pedal. So we put a concept into this pedal, even if it was a custom order. So it was very interesting to make it.
Yeah, because we did the custom pedal for him, and then when we tried it with him, we were like, okay, we have to release it. So first we released it as a limited edition of like maybe
25?
20 25 units.
Yeah.
It sold out in a night. So we were like, okay, we have to build it in like maybe a large batch of pedal, and we work the wall design and maybe had some features, etc. So that's how we came with the final version of the Nocturnal. But the very first one is a very graphical one.
Yeah.
It has been very limited, and it's a fun story because it was not planned to be a serious release
Yeah.
at first, but then it became one.
Man. So I have what I love about the Nocturnal, beyond that it sounds really good, and, but, like, I have the, is it Celeste? The pink and purple
Yeah,
one?
yeah, yeah.
There's so many different versions of
Yeah.
colors, and
Yeah.
it's even too that there's the June one, which
Yeah.
is a little more simple in its design, the graphics on it, but it's, uh, beautiful in its own way. This picture of this beautiful girl, on the front. So it's definitely one of those that I was looking at which of the colorways fit me the most, and I ended up with Celeste.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but let's talk about the shimmer side real quick. Paul and I have a love-hate relationship with shimmer, and, yeah, I think it's because, like, when we first experienced it with the Strymon Blue Sky,
Yeah.
back when it was originally put out, it was something that you really couldn't dial back. It was just in the algorithm. It was what it was, and it was great, and then it became extremely overdone. Everybody started doing it. Um, Other companies cut corners in terms of the quality of it, and it sounded too harsh and whatnot, but, I love the way that you've employed the shimmer in the Nocturnal. Um, could you maybe touch real quick on how to bring, it's still kind of a nuanced effect in terms of how, like, shimmer is not something that every reverb has,
Yeah.
but you managed to still make it unique.
I
Can you
let
talk about that real
I
quick?
let Dennis.
Yeah.
First, just to precise it a bit more, the whole idea of a nocturnal was to represent a sleepless night. That's why it's split in three parts that are dusk, night, and dawn. And
Mm,
the shimmer part is down, so it's like when you in our imagination, that's one when you have spent a sleepless night, and then you open like the eyes at the morning with birds and with the sun, and it's something very shiny, but as you didn't sleep, you're not that well, so that's
yeah.
the idea of it. Yeah, so the algorithm behind the shimmer is that we created this long reverb we like, and then we take a part of this reverb that we feed at the input of the reverb. So we take
Mhm.
a part of the output that we feed at the input, so a sort of a feedback, but we pitch up this feedback. So that's how it creates this shimmer effect, because it can't stop uh, being feedback, so it creates the shimmering effect that
Ah,
goes up and up. So that's the idea of the shimmer. We didn't like the very cold shimmers, so we wanted it to be a
Warm,
bit
little.
yeah, warm and a bit dark. So
yeah.
that's how we came with the two filters, the filter knob, which is a low pass filter that has different resonance frequencies that can make the shimmer resonate at some precise frequencies. So you can use it like at a low resonance frequency or a bit high, etc. And the color filter, which is an analog bandpass or notch filter, and then with it you can put your shimmer in front of your ears or in the background. So you can have a very shimmering sound in the background. So that's how it's more dark, or
Yeah.
a very present shimmer just in front of your ears, but not that bright because of the other filter knob. So the whole thing is in the algorithm and with the two filter knobs. I think that's the whole thing behind the shimmer.
I love the imagery that the story you basically you had me at just, like, when you don't sleep at all and you start to open your eyes,
Yeah.
like, it's similar to the way that the gold on the knobs of the black hole symmetry, it's like you're 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 creating a story, and you're putting it into hardware and software engineered, like, like, it's it's incredible because it's not just like, "Oh, let's make it sound like this," and it's like you're writing a whole, like, series of novels and then trying to come up you're creating a pedal to to represent that, and
Yeah.
it's wow.
And
Wow.
there is a fun fact when you can say that when you push the knobs.
Yeah, when you push all of the digital knobs of the shimmer, so it's the shimmer, reverb, and filter knobs, the shimmer starts to self erase or self, I don't know you say, but to disintegrate on itself. It
Okay.
starts to collapse, and then it sounds like a bit crusher.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that was a bit of an error, uh, an issue at first, but
okay.
we let it like that because we loved this idea of something very beautiful that happens, like a very beautiful morning, and then it's so beautiful, and then it's collapse. And that's I think that's something we really liked because it was something very um, pictured. I don't know how you say, but something very like visual thing.
Well, it's a very visceral thing because, like, think about, like I mean, the last time I stayed up all night, it's probably whenever I fly over to Europe and I get there, having not slept on the plane, I land and, I push through, have as much coffee as I can, and, I've landed in Copenhagen or in somewhere in Germany and just walking the cities and loving it, and it's beautiful, and I'm having the best time, and then as it starts to get to dark, I start to implode on myself because of not having slept for, 24, 30, whatever, however much time it's been since I woke up the day before. And that beautiful moment turns into chaos because of,
Yeah,
yeah, I just start to, I implode on myself. So yeah, I
yeah.
totally, I see that. I love that. Yeah.
That's exactly the idea. And we had this dynamic tremolo too, which part is named Night. The idea was that it creates a sort of a warbling, a trembling thing, like when you spend a whole night without sleeping, you can start to shake, and that was the idea. When you're tired but you can't sleep, that's the idea of the whole thing.
Yeah. Wow. I love it. It's so good. It's I mean, and I read all the website stuff, I read all the manuals when I get these things and, like, try and get all the content and information that I can, but hearing it from you both and hearing the just the design concepts, the stories behind I mean, and I don't say like, the story of the black hole symmetry in itself has its own story of coming to be, but it also has a story of the concept of what you wanted the pedal to be. And Nocturnal, just the story of how you, the story you paint in with the picture of the different parts of the pedal, and it resonates and feels very understandable, as a human and being able to understand those experiences but then obviously as a musician, as a guitar player or a synth player, being able to then translate those experiences to sound, um, is I think and maybe that's part of what resonates, with Paul and I so much, and with so many of your loyal customers, because you're telling stories of experiences that we've all had, um, and in some ways, it's hard to come with words with life experience, and you're doing a beautiful job here, in not your native language, but it's like I am I feel moved right now, and just with the understanding of where you have brought this company, the intention behind everything that you're doing. I have a lot of respect, and we're only 30 something minutes into this podcast. So I am, I am so impressed. I'm so impressed. Um, And I mean, we could sit here and talk for hours and hours and hours, but we still have a long way to go here. So your next big box release was it's different,
Yeah.
and it's different in a really, really good way. It's the Crush Turnal.
Yeah.
Um, so if the black hole symmetry is all sound kind of collapsing on itself in this beautiful shoegazy fuzzy sound, the nocturnal is an ambient machine, and that tells you what it is. The Crush Turnal is you start bringing in some of the sample reduction, clock sequencing.
Yeah,
You start bringing in elements that in some ways are unfamiliar to the guitar world and definitely have more of a synthesizer
Yeah.
feel and some Eurorack, modular stuff and how you've designed it. Um, I won't say more. Tell us
yeah,
about the Crush Turtle.
So first, for the Christianal, we were thinking of put a bit crusher into the nocturnal as first to
Okay,
replace the dynamic tremolo and put a bit crusher and to test the reaction between delay, shimmer, and bit crusher. So we made a prototype of this, and it was great, but we love great things, but we always wanted to do more.
sure. Yeah.
So we were listening the bit crushing, shimmering, delaying, etc. And uh, it was late at night, and we were listening this with Denise, and some ideas comes in our brain, and we say, oh, maybe we can add this, maybe we can add this, maybe we can add this, and we build it step by step. And finally, the Christianal is not like the Nocturnal, but
No.
because it was a prototype of Nocturnal, we named it Christianal. And again, there is a story, a concept behind the name and behind June Extra.
yeah, yeah. That's the whole idea. Yeah. As behind the nocturnal, the idea is that June, the little girl of the nocturnal, stays on Earth waiting for Joel, because Joel is the man that left with his spaceship to the black hole symmetry. So that's the link between all of the pedals. And in the crash tunnel, June plugs herself in a digital program, and then she gets stuck in the program. Her memories starts to be affected by that, and that's how we became with the crush tunnel thing. It's like digital madness
Yeah.
that goes in all of the ways, noisy, ambient, etc. So yeah, that's the idea behind the crash tunnel. We liked this clock thing that creates a very like, I don't know how you say, but something which is very sad and not in a good way. um, um, and that's what we liked, because we really like the ambient and weird stuff like FX Twin and maybe Boards of Canada, and that's some of the music that inspired us a lot to create the Crash Tunnel, manipulating the samples, etc.
And as you said before, it seems like the Christianal is more a synth thing, and we love for sure the synth world.
Yeah.
So we are for sure inspired by a synthesizer or extra. And in the team, Aubin, the guy behind the digital code of the Christianal Extra, is a great synth player, and
Yeah.
he had a lot of idea to bring to the Christianal. So
Yeah.
it was very interesting to make more a digital thing compared to our previous product before.
Sure. And I think the digital does come through here in a good way. Um, it in a good way. And it's so sad because, like, the word digital can be used in such a negative way when we talk about
Yeah.
pedals, but we've reached this era of things, and not just with your progression of pedals, but just in the market as a whole, that digital is obviously it's here, but we can do so much with it that embracing it for what it is a it has come now to be some really excellent boxes. Um, and I love one of the things I love about the Crush Journal, and I have Paul's here. Hold on. We pass pedals back and forth, and when it was time for the last swap, I said, "You're not getting the Crush Journal back." Um, Paul, we have the the pastel color one, um, but I love on the feedback knob how you go to infinity here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had Paul's like, "You gotta try that." And I did, and I think, like, 2 hours later, I was still playing, and I was like, "Oh, I was supposed to check everything else out. I'm still on just the feedback knob. You're gonna have to wait." Um,
Yeah.
I love that, I love that, and I love, so thinking through going back to, like, the sequencing things and, like, the clock that you have, um, I asked Paul not to tell me much about the Crush Turtle, to let me experience it, and having,
Yeah.
played the Black Hole Symmetry and the Nocturnal, I I thought I was ready to just dive into the Crush Journal, and I knew that there was some sequencing, I knew that there was some clocking, so I'm thinking to myself, "Oh, what else do I know that's got sequence? The Strymon Night Sky. Okay, I know what that is. What else has clock that I use? The Chase Bliss Mood. Okay, I know what that is." And then I get your pedal, and again, I'm like, "This is not what I was expecting. It's so much more."
Cool.
And, I love it, I love it, and again, I Paul, sorry, you're not getting this back because I have so much to dive into. I still have so much to play with this thing.
Yeah, that's amazing. Uh, yeah, if I just want to complete on the digital thing, I think as we are young and we do not have that much experience. We are not DSP or digital masters.
Mm.
So we learned a lot by ourselves and we learned a lot by making. So I think we are not going to be a company that is recreating perfectly the analog circuits, but in a digital way. I think we are going to explore the digital weirdness and those types of things because that's what we like with the digital stuff. I
Yeah,
think we're going yeah straight forward in
Yeah.
this way
In this
for
way.
the
yeah.
future products. Yeah.
Well, I think that's great because you stay who you are, you true to yourselves, true to the company,
Yeah.
and there are other brands out there that have DSP engineers who have been doing
Yeah.
it for 20, 30 years, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Not every company needs that. And I think there's a lot of brands that they see they see success from other companies and they try to emulate that as best they can. And sure, there is this roadmap or pathway to that success that could be repeated, but to have you introduced digital and DSP into the Crush kernel, not being experts, hiring somebody on that is a little bit more expert than you are, but still saying, "No, this is the DNA of collision devices,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
we're gonna make weird, beautiful things that we wanna play, and it's you're fortunate to do it extremely well. Obviously, that comes with all the hard work and dedication that you've put into it, but there's also a gift there, there's a gift in being able to craft beautiful stories both in word, then to design, and then the sound that comes out of it. That's a unique gift that you both have, and that your company, I think, has uh, just the beginnings here of the success that you're going to find. And I love that we're talking. And usually when Paul and sorry, as I said earlier, I'm like taking both roles since Paul's not here. Usually when Paul and I are talking to a manufacturer, we come up with so much respect that we didn't have originally. And I think hearing the stories is what really does it, and not just for us, but for our listeners, being able to to humanize these metal boxes into what uh, just the heart of Dennis and Baptiste and the rest of your team and what you've done. Um, I love it. I love it. So Crush Kernel is amazing. I feel like we haven't done it justice yet in talking about it. You have all of the sequence steps. It takes CV, which I love that more and more effects are doing CV. I know nothing about CV, but I still love that it's happening.
Yeah.
So so tell me more a little bit about, I guess, the sequencing side of it, because that is kind of maybe the newer side of these types of effects with sequence. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, sure. Um, as we said before, we were experimenting with the clock of the effect. So we saw that by changing the clock, we were affecting how the effects behave. So when the clock is decreasing, the reverbs gets longer and the delay gets longer, and the pitch is pitched down. And when we increase the clock, it's the other way. So we were experimenting with that. We were tricking a lot this clock knob, because it affects both effects.
Yeah.
And if we want in the kernel, we can set one effect at a fixed clock and have the other affected by the clock knob. So we can have all of the configurations we want. And we came with the idea that it could be great to have those pitch transposition, those pitch moves
Mhm.
set by uh, musical harmonies. So that's how we came with the sequencer, because we have like the tiny interval, which is like just sort of a chorus thing. And then we have
Yes.
minor, second, major, second, Tera, third, fourth, fifth, until the octave. That's the idea. It creates, it automatize. I don't know how you say. It's yeah,
Automize. Yeah,
yeah.
I know what you're
It
saying.
yeah, it's automatize the clock moves in musical intervals shifting. So that was the aim of the sequencer, to create those musical intervals things, but with the clock. So when you have like a delay running into the reverb, and you engage the sequencer, you can have like a sort of an harmonizer that is going to create itself some harmonies,
Mhm.
for example, at the octave, and it can just pitch down by an octave or two or three or four. You can do whatever you want, because you have all of the musical intervals and all of the different steps. So you can have a two-step sequencer, a three-step sequencer, a two-step sequencer going up and down, etc. So you have all of the different possibilities. Um, that's something which is maybe a geek thing, because I think most of the, or a huge part of the people that play the Christian at first does not understand this sequencer, because it can be complicated. But as soon as you experiment with it, I think you get the
And
idea.
I think experimenting things with the Chroma is the best way to discover it. I'm not a guitar player. I'm more a drum player.
Yeah.
And when Denis gave me the first prototype of the Chroma, I was just spending some time to turn the sequencer extra, and I was like, okay, this is just happy accident every time, and this is exactly what is cool with the Crush Tunnel. So even if you are not a guitar player, etc., just test it and you'll see it. This is very cool to explore a new world of sounds
Yeah.
with the sequencer.
Yeah. Yeah, and the idea after that was to have the sequencer being able to be synchronized with an external clock. That's why we added, just before the release. It was like maybe 2 weeks before the release. We added the sync.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that the pedal can be synchronized with like drum machines or synthesizer with an analog clock. So yeah, and it has a special features that not a lot of people
What?
know. No, you know
What?
that it's a trigger mode.
Yeah.
So you can put your pedal in a trigger mode, so that with the sequencer foot switch, you can trigger a new step at each tap. So it's
Yes.
amazing when you play with, for example, you play in a band with a drummer, and you it does not play with like the metronome with the click, and he moves a bit, so you can play with him because you can tap whenever you want, and it triggers the next step. So it's amazing to do guitar tricks with that, and yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
And the last thing that I can say with the crush tunnel is at this time we wanted to make the crush tunnel like an object, a funny object, and we wanted to play with it and not just buy your pedals, put it on the pedal board, and not touch it during
Yeah.
so many years. So I think it's the best way to explore a new pedal is to touch it and to turn
Mhm.
the knob. So this is why there is 10 or 12 knobs in the Stormbox, because we love scenes. So obviously we love when there is a lot of knobs, and
Yeah,
this is cool.
we love physical objects and
Yeah,
turning
Yeah.
knobs, Tera. So that's the idea of most of our pedals,
yeah.
and that's maybe why we didn't came yet with MIDI, etc. That's
Yet.
something which is on the work now, but for now we liked so much experimenting to turning knobs, etc.
Well, I love it because, I think those of us who've been playing for a while, we're used to at least dialing in the sound that we want. And I love that with all of your big boxes for sure. And again, I haven't tried the ranch. Paul, I'm gonna buy the ranch. Um, he always tells me whether I can and can't buy things. But he's not here, so I can do what I want. Um, I love that it is yes, you could set it and forget it and always play that sound, but there's so much more to that the pedal invites you to come out with, and I think the Crush Kernel is probably the most of it, of the 3, it's the pedal that does that the most, and it's in a way, it's almost disappointing, and I'll explain why. It's you find a sound that you love, and then I just wanna like, again, I was playing that one just the feedback on Infinity for, like, 2 hours, and then I'm like, "Oh, wait, there's more. Oh, man," and, like, I feel like I let the pedal down by not exploring more. Oh, but just knowing that there's more creativity that is waiting to be uncovered, is a wonderful thing, and especially for musicians who you've been playing for a while, maybe you've gone through a dry spell, having a box that encourages creativity is, often
Yeah.
that thing that you need to kind of get you out of that slump, and I think Crush Kernel definitely, uh well, all your pedals do, but Crush Kernel specifically because of all the uniqueness that you've put in there, the nuances is really wonderful. So, um, yeah, we're jumping over Tars real quick because, Dennis, you just teased us with something that's coming. Yes?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We
No.
have. I think we have many things to come later, at different time, because we are working on um, some long time project that are not going to be released the year next year, and maybe even not the year after,
Yeah.
because we are working on big projects for us. But yeah, we are for sure working on stereo MIDI for new projects, and even for our current pedals. So yeah, there is a Black Hole Symmetry V2 which is on the bench. There is
Question all we do on the
a
bench.
Questionable V2 on the bench too. There are some other pedals. We are also thinking about a smaller range of pedals that are going to be fun anyway, but smaller pedal, maybe more affordable too. Um, because that's something which is very important to us too, because we can't afford
Yeah.
our own pedals. So we were thinking about doing about doing some maybe more affordable pedals, and that's something we have in mind and are currently working on too. But yeah, we have several projects at the same time, I don't know yet which one will be the first to be released, but yeah, there are all of these projects.
That's okay. We can live with
Yeah.
this with the secret, the shroud of secrecy.
Yeah, yeah,
But I love that you're jumping into the stereo game.
yeah,
I I'm a sucker for stereo. Uh, but we won't go on that soapbox. Um, let's jump back to Tars real quick. Tars Deluxe.
yeah,
Yeah.
And then I want to move on just because I appreciate the time that you've given us, and I want to let you get back to your day.
That's fine.
Okay, so Tars Deluxe. I'll be honest. When I saw the original Tars, I'm like, oh, that's really cool looking. Eh, I'm not much of a fuzz guy. It's beautiful. It's great, but I'll never use it. And then Tars Deluxe came out, and I told Paul, we need this. Um, and here's something that Paul doesn't know. Um, for his, because I told you earlier, his birthday's in May. I bought one of, well, you guys might know this because, Dennis, you and I have been emailing a bit. I bought one of the burned editions, Tars Deluxe, for Paul's birthday.
So cool.
So this is a Tars Deluxe, which, for those of you who don't know, the Tars Deluxe is a dual fuzz with 2 analog filters inspired by the Korg MS-20, which Korg MS-20 is an amazing sound machine.
Yeah. Really.
That's really why I wanted to buy it, because knowing that, like, the Tars. Here's the thing, I'm new to fuzz, I don't love it that much for myself, but I still want it, and then when Tars Deluxe came out, I'm like, "Oh, it's 2 of those? Okay, I mean, it's gotta be twice as good, so we gotta do it." And then when the burned edition came out, which is where you're literally taking the enclosure and burning them, right?
Mm,
chemically burn them.
yeah. Yeah. I had
Chemically,
a
that's
try.
fine.
I had a try with one stomach, and I tried to burn it with a lighter
Yeah,
and more and gas oil and etc. But the result was not very good. So I take some paint chemical products, and I just mélanger.
yeah, yeah. You swap them together.
Yeah, I just swap them together and waiting for them to be just dry and wait for the results, and was very very great. So yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing
Yeah.
because all of those chemical products interact together, and
Yeah.
it gives this burning, s- uh,
Design.
aspect. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
We're gonna pause real quick here and tell any of the children listening to this episode that uh, don't just mix chemicals by yourselves. Have an adult there with you. Uh, no, but acid etching and all of these types of things are, um, very desirable in in the pedal community. So having you doing your own, version with specifically with the Tars Deluxe, you know, I had to. I didn't even ask Paul. He doesn't know. I'm assuming he's gonna find out because he's gonna listen to the podcast, but if he doesn't, maybe it'll be a surprise, but,
Sorry, Paul.
yeah, no, yeah, sorry, I spent money. Bought you something that I think that you'd like. Um, but, I mean, you guys, you've had the knobs machined, like, those are custom,
yeah,
um, right? Like, this is not just a fuzz in a box, like,
Yeah.
let's I don't I hate to ask you to be brief, 'cause I've just been going on and on and on about all your stuff, but, I do wanna get to some of the last questions that we have. So tell us real quick about Tars Deluxe, because that is, like, the newest thing that you guys have, that come out with, and I know that it's probably something that a lot of people are interested in.
Yeah. So just I will talk in terms of design, product design. So for the knobs and the fader caps, the idea was to make our own design and our home knobs. So I spent a lot of time to try to draw something cool, and I was inspired by a lot of knobs. But the idea to Tars DLX is a robot, and we use aluminum for our product. So I said to Dennis, we had to use aluminum for our knobs and for the fader caps. And I call a friend of us who work 30 minutes from our workshop.
Yeah.
And I said, can you please do this? We made some prototypes. And after he sent me the first prototypes, and we were like children's
Yeah, yeah.
in Christmas. It's just, wow, look at this. It's a big knob in aluminum. Is just very crazy. So, yeah, that was very fun to build this.
Yeah, it's there are custom knobs, and I think
Yeah.
this does not exist a lot, especially in the effects pedal field. As our enclosures are custom made too, because these are not standard enclosures, and Baptiste designed them too. Yeah, it made sense to make custom knobs, and the big knobs look like UFO, and that's amazing.
They do. They do.
So yeah, in terms of electronic, I think we pushed Tars Deluxe way uh, maybe way far than Tars, because we wanted it to be more versatile and more powerful, more noisy too. So that's why we added the second filter and the second fuzz, which puts a part of the first fuzz circuit in feedback. So you can have like from a little distortion to a fuzz sound, and you can put it in feedback with the second fuzz, and you can filter it. And we have several modes of
Yeah.
of interacting fuzz and filters together. So it's amazing. But yeah, there are yeah, many things to say about Tars DLX too. But I think this is maybe the most versatile pedal
For sure.
we've built for now, because we just have like a little amount of effects and controls, but you can do so many things, and each
Sure.
position of the knob does something a bit different than the one before that. So yeah, I think it's a studio tool and stage tool too. It's
And
it's very cool.
we know that it can be scary to see the Tars DLX when you just want to buy a fuzz. But with Tars DLX, you can have a little drive or a huge fuzz. So I think
Yeah.
this is what is very interesting with Tars DLX. It's the versatility of the product.
Yeah, sure. And it's very different from having a fuzz pedal into another filter pedal,
Yeah.
because the circuits are built to interact together. So the fuzz can make the filter clip a bit. So it's amazing, because it's almost like in the MS-20 grain texture. So yeah, it's very cool. And we have a special mode that we have named add fuzz. So it add another fuzz on the top of a filtered
Okay.
fuzz. So it creates phasing effects between the two fuzz signals. It sounds so huge. It's amazing. Yeah,
I'm
I
super
love it.
excited. I'm super excited.
And I don't know if you have a drum machine, but if you have, please place the Tars DLX after your drum machine. It's so huge.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's very
Nice.
cool.
Yeah, I forget if I had when I ordered that, if I had it shipped to my house or Paul's, but if it's sent to my house, he may never ever get it. Because he just it's I mean, it's not often that I don't buy fuzz that often because I don't it's not my favorite, but, it's not often that I'll just buy something, sight unseen or, without it having listened to anything, but having played and this is, I think, what you probably experience with your customers, with the loyalty that people are showing because of having played some of the other devices that you've made. I already have a standard in which I'm expecting from Tars Deluxe, and I think that also means that, um, it kind of helped cross over that, maybe concern I had about buying a fuzz pedal, um, and again, I know I bought it for Paul, but really secretly I bought it for myself too, so, it's all good, but, it's beautiful. I love it. I want it. I might have to get another one. It's cool. Uh, all right. So you've kind of answered all the questions that we sent you ahead of time, and again, I appreciate you. You're both in the communication that we've had. I appreciate the flexibility and
accents.
I love it. I do, and I think I told you this yesterday as we were kind of chatting. We're I'm used because I've worked for companies based in Europe for many years. I am used to speaking English with uh, with people who are from Europe, and the accents. One, they're beautiful to me. I love them, but two, I understand completely. There's not been a moment where I've been like,
Cool.
wait, what did he say? Um, so it's great. And I remember, Dennis, in some of our early emails, you were saying that you would be the one that would do the interview because your English is better, and it's fantastic. But Bati, it's your English is great too. So
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. He's
don't
nice.
sell yourself short. Okay, so what we like to do here at the podcast is to ask our interviewees 3 questions.
Okay.
Um, and I'm going to ask you them uh, one at a time. We call them rapid fire, but they never tend to be rapid fire because everybody likes to talk about. I guess because the questions kind of they bring this like, oh, I want to tell you more. So it's okay if there's like some discussion about it, but um, it can be a simple one-word answer, or we can have a 30-minute dissertation. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
So here is the first question, and yeah, I'm thinking that with Betsy, with you being a drummer, um, you still have to answer, and I like that it'll probably be different, for you because of that. So, all right, here we go. What was your first pedal that not that you made as a company, but that you ever
I
had?
bought. Okay. I think it was the Chroma Console since last year. Yeah.
Okay.
I never bought FX pedal because we had a lot of FX pedal in the workshop.
Yeah.
But and Dennis has a lot of effect pedal. So, but when I saw the Chroma console, I said just okay, this drum machine that would be so versatile. So I bought it. Yeah, but it was my first effect pedal.
Yeah.
I love that. I love
I,
that.
I
You've
used a lot before, but that was not mine. That was
okay.
Dennis' stuff. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, what about you, Dennis?
Uh, it's not very original. It was a Ditto looper,
Okay.
just to play in my room alone.
It's great. That's great. I mean, originality is kind of overrated in some of these things, right? Like,
Yeah,
um, everything kind of comes to us in different ways, and whether it's because of somebody's influence that they had on you and whatnot. I mean, you don't. I don't expect the answer to be like, oh well, I made my own thing because I never liked whatever somebody else. No, like Ditto Looper is great. It is.
yeah,
It is fantastic.
yeah.
It's
Um,
very
and
cool.
yeah, so that's a great answer.
Yeah,
All right, next.
we still use it
Yeah. To
to
test.
yeah to do our pedal test. So
Yeah.
each
I mean,
pedal
honestly,
is tested with this Ditto looper.
is it your original Ditto Looper?
Yeah.
It's a must-have.
Yeah.
Pedal.
It is a must-have, and honestly,
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're wanting to do something really weird and crazy with a looper, the Ditto is probably as classic of
Yeah.
a pedal that you can get, and it's great. So,
Yeah.
both great answers, fellas, fantastic. All right, next question, and this can be your own. You can answer with your own. You can answer with one that we don't know about yet, and you can say, I can't tell you what it is, but and it can also be something that is not yours. So the question is this: what is your current favorite pedal?
Okay. Um, of how range or in the world?
Nope. In the world, it can be your range. It can
Wow,
also be something that you're working on, but it can be anybody else's pedal. It doesn't matter.
very difficult.
I think mine is the Count to Five
Mm.
from Montreal Assembly.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I think it's the scariest pedal I've ever used.
Yeah.
But it's I
Very
love
cool.
how it does guitar tricks.
It.
I love it.
Yes. Yes. Great answer.
I will not be very original, but
That's
I
okay.
think the microcosm from Hologram Electronics,
Yeah.
because like I said before, I love happy accidents, and I'm not a guitar player. So for me, the microcosm was just an insane object. And yeah, I think this is my best pedal.
It's a great run.
Yeah,
It's
But
it's
yeah, I think the whole Chase Bliss lineup is
for sure.
amazing too. It's difficult to not pick one.
no, I know, and this is a hard question. It really is. That's why we
Yeah,
ask it. Betsy, the okay, you're obviously a hologram fan.
yeah, for
So
sure.
so are we. So are we. So you're perfectly fine there. Microcosm is one of my favorites as well. It's probably
Cool.
um, it's one of my desert island pedals.
Yeah,
Meaning,
exactly.
like
Yeah.
like, it's currently sitting in a box, I don't use it that much, but it's one of those I probably will never get rid of
Yeah,
because I've still yet to unlock everything that it does, kinda like the
yeah,
Crush Journal, right? I've yet to unlock everything, and it is a box full of happy accidents, and sometimes you
yeah,
need that, and, I I did a I think I was comparing the newest Walrus, the Chi Etherealizer,
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
sure, we
with
did
the
too.
Microcosm.
exactly.
And they both have some good strengths. It's like a video that I did. They both have some really good strengths, but one of my favorite things about the microcosm is that I never know what I'm gonna get out of it.
Yeah,
Like, I can put the same thing in it every time, and it gives me something different. But it
yeah,
does it in a good like, an organic and a musical way, so I love it. So
yeah.
you're in good company.
Yeah, and
So
when the pedal was released, the microcosm, we were in 2018,
Maybe, yeah.
2018 or 2020, and it was for me a really game changer in terms of effect pedal. I was like, okay, we can do this with electronics. It just wow.
yeah.
and
Yeah.
and I love Hologram Company because for me, Rockstar game for GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption, and for me, Hologram Electronics are the Rockstar game in
Okay,
of the pedal.
Yeah.
They just released one effect pedal,
Like 2 or 3 years.
yeah, like two or three, and I love this concept. And yeah, they take the time to develop a great product, and I think it's working. So
Yeah.
yeah, I love the company for this.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's very
Nice.
cool.
Nice. Well, you may have just answered the next question, Betsy, and that's okay, but,
Sorry.
here's the question. The third no, 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 it's fine. The third question is, who inspires you to try new gear? It could be a company, it could be an artist, it could be a friend, it could be an influencer on social media. Um,
Yeah. To me, no doubt, it's Nick Reinhart
Yeah,
from
yes.
Tera Melos. Yes, I love his music so much, and he's always doing some guitar tricks with his pedals, with his MIDI. So yeah, it's it's amazing, and he seems to be an amazing guy too. So yeah, he inspired me a lot.
yeah, and for me, I think it's the band called Horror. Yeah, they released an album, United States of Horror.
Okay.
I can spell it's Ho9909, and we listened the album since 5 or 6 years now, and we saw them in live in the UK, and we were young, and I was speaking to myself, and I said, okay, we can do this with music. They push the music like nobody pushed the music, and they inspired me a lot to create when I'm behind the computer with a drum or a guitar. I said I can do more. They do more,
Mm.
so I
Oh, I
can do
love it.
more. So
I
Yeah,
love it.
and they,
I
they
love
they
it.
have this thing of no compromise,
yeah.
and that's something we really like.
And
Yeah. Well,
when we build a pedal, it's exactly the same way. So we say we can do more. We every time can do more. So please push the project. And
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. And I think that, the time that we spent today shows that is kind of where you are as a company, where you're going. You don't compromise. You push yourselves to do more and more and more. And so I'm really, really excited about what you have coming down the line. I've got one more thing. This is the Paul thing that we do. Um, and so it'll be interesting. You made a you made a reference, Betsy, about not being able to afford your own pedals. So that actually that comes back to this question. All right, so this is a Reddit question on the sub forum.
yeah,
Are guitar pedals okay? So what I'll do is I'll read it and then we kind of all answer the question. Um, so and this one's not rapid fire, so what it's like a little slight discussion. Okay, the question is this: what is the most that you have spent on a pedal? Was it worth it? Did you suffer from buyer's remorse? So I'm gonna and then the it's Shadowcaster 1011 is the person that wrote it. What he or she or they continue to say is this: I'm more curious if you thought the pedal was worth what you paid. I tend to find deals on used pedals and generally don't like spending a ton of money on pedals, especially new ones. One of the most expensive pedals I've ever bought was a Chase Bliss Billy Strings Womb Tone. Uh, at first, I had quite a bit of buyer's remorse, but honestly, I've had so much fun with it that I now don't feel too bad dropping $400 on a pedal. So that's the context. What's the most you've ever spent, and was it worth it? Did you have buyer's remorse?
Yeah. I think the particular thing with us is that we do not buy a lot of pedals, but we trade pedals with other
Yeah.
companies. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that the pedals that I spent the most on was the Autobit from Meris, and it worth it. So
Mm.
I we are in the position where we can't afford any new pedal we like, but we wish to. But our income does not allow us to do that. So we understand this way of thinking of secondhand, etc. But that's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and for me, obviously, it was the Chroma Console, and it was it a lot. But sometimes we can fall in love with a pedal that costs just 100, and I think the most important thing when you buy a pedal is just to see if the pedal brings you what you want exactly, and a pedal can cost 100 or $1,000 if you want it, and if you see that it brings very cool texture to your sound.
If
I
you
think it's
felt.
worth it. And yeah,
And sometimes gear can help to be more creative. So it's something which is maybe more of a concept, but because it does not feel a need at first. But being more creative is a cool thing for creating tracks. So it's a cool way of thinking too. I think what I like when I sometimes buy new products is supporting the builders directly, because or also local shops, etc. Because we do not do that a lot, but if we could, we will do it.
yeah,
Because
Sure. Yeah.
the second hand is amazing for people that cannot afford new products and to avoid waste. So that's something that is very important to us too. But for people who want to support and to afford new products, I think that's a cool way.
because it's cool to support Fender when you buy a Telecaster Extra, but it's so much funnier to support brand like All Blue Noise, etc. So when we put our money into a pedal, we put it because we had an idea and we want to bring it into our pedal board, etc., into our music. But we know that the money we spent is going to this company, and they can develop other products extra. So
and because it supports cool people behind that, as everything is political, this is like this is like a political act of spending money too.
Sure. Sure. And man, we haven't really gotten much into politics this one. That's maybe because Paul wasn't here. Just kidding. I love it. I love it. So this is a question that we usually Paul and I answer too when we do it. So it's not and I the most that I've ever paid, I bought the Chase Bliss CXM 1978 reverb. So that was like a $900 and I bought that new. Thankfully, it was when Chase Bliss ran they ran like that summer sale like in 23 or something like that, and it was like a 10% off. But most that I've ever paid, and I think I had instant buyer's remorse just because of how much it costs. But do I regret buying it? No, and I'll say why. I don't have it anymore
Yeah.
because I'm also like I actually found that the Meris Mercury X
Yeah.
covers the need
It's
that I
very
have
cool
for those
pedal.
sounds.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's amazing.
Which is also amazing, and Maris did the algorithms on the CXM 1978, so you can
Yeah.
find a bit of it in there. There's definitely hardware differences, that you can hear. Um, I personally, because of the way I'm very in and out all the time, I knew that, I knew I had to try it, but there was a good chance I even knew this going into it that I wasn't gonna keep it, but I was able to pass it along or trade or something like that, to somebody else who, absolutely loved it and wanted it, but I don't regret it because, um, it also people ask me about that pedal,
Yeah.
and what do I think about it, and, from both studio musicians and stage musicians, but also I have a lot of, because of my work in pro audio that we've talked about, um, I have a lot of front of house engineers that want to use that pedal for, like, their
Mm.
vocal chains live, and being able to kinda speak to that, from having used it it was worth it. It was worth it to know, um, and then I was able to move it on knowing that it wasn't gonna be something that I was gonna keep, so but I think you're right, like, I think it's a great way to support, we have the money that we have, it's limited, no matter who we are, no matter how much we make,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
limited, and so we can support the companies that we believe in for whatever reason that may be, um, and, that's a great way to look at it, so thank you so much,
Yeah.
thank
Cool.
you. Well, fellas, we've come to the end of it, and I am so thankful for the time that you've had here with
Thank you
us
for having
and
us.
just it was so wonderful. I would love to do
Yeah.
it again sometime with Paul. Maybe
Yeah,
we
for
do
sure.
like an after hours episode where it's just Paul. It's just the four of us talking politics. Um, because I'm very interested in how you feel about that. What I will say to anybody who is interested in collision devices is go to the website collisiondevices.com and you can check out all the stuff that they have. If you are a US resident, it's very clear on their website that there is no tariffs for the stuff under $800. So that is the de minimis threshold that we've started talking about. So you get I love it. No import fees, no tariffs, only noise. So that's from your website. So definitely
Yeah.
that. I mean, honestly, any of their pedals in its single form would fall into that category. Um, I'm assuming here because you have some bundles. I'm assuming the bundles, if they go above $800, then that's something
Yeah.
to be aware of,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So if you don't want to pay a tariff in the States, don't spend more than $800.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I also love this. I'm going to point this out real quick, and you don't have to talk about it because we are out of time. But on the very front page of the shop, there's even a place that says if you're a student or unemployed person,
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
special discount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that, and I think that you you know, obviously you're doing what you're doing to sustain your living, to also sustain the company, but you've made up many comments throughout this podcast that tells me that you're conscious about cost, both to yourselves and to your customers, and this is something that I have never seen another manufacturer do, so publicly. So bravo to you all and doing that.
Thank you.
So there's that. Also, like they keep an eye on their Instagram because they run sales. There's B stock pedals, and if you are in France, um, there is something coming very very soon. I think um, the make your own. Like you're teaching people how to make pedals in person, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's something we launched recently, and we are going to release a new design. So yeah, that's some of a secret too. But yeah, we are going to release a new design for DIY pedals. So we are
Yeah.
going to teach workshops to assemble pedals in our own workshop. So with our team,
Oh,
and we are
wonderful.
going to sell some DIY kits for people who live abroad. and we are going to sell those pedals fully assembled too for the people who do not have the materials to assemble them. So yeah, this is going to be a cool one.
Yeah, for
That is so cool. So awesome. So all of that can be found on their website, collisiondevices.com. Go there now and check it out. Support these guys. They're they're wonderful humans, and like we just said, this is a chance that you can use your finances to get something that you want and support good people doing it. And I can promise you, you will love any of the pedals that you buy because they're all amazing. So
Thanks a lot.
thank you so much, fellas. I appreciate it. I
Thank you.
wish you the best rest of your week. And so I think it's evening, it's getting close to evening there. So,
Yeah.
bonne nuit.
Yeah,
that-
thank you.
All right. All right, everybody. We'll catch you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.